The general thing here is that any exercise is better than nothing, especially for untrained individuals. But in trained individuals, you're probably going to need a higher amount of minimum dose of exercise to get any sort of improvement. And maybe one of the better studies on this came out recently in 2021. This was on powerlifters, so competitive powerlifters. They looked at what was the minimum dose that was required to see an improvement in one rep max strength in this particular group. And they found that 3 to 6 weekly sets of squat, bench, and deadlift using 1 to 5 reps and weights greater than 80% of 1RM can improve strength in this population. Now, that wouldn't improve my 1RM performance. If so, I would be much stronger by now.
Right.
But in this particular group, that's what they found. And so to me, that represents maybe a floor level of like training stress that would be needed for a strength trained athlete to accomplish per week. But I also don't think that would be used in perpetuity. Like, oh, you could just do this forever and keep getting stronger. Maybe for a short period of time. Maybe in particularly sensitive individuals who just are hyper responders to exercise in general. That may work, but I don't think that's like a long term strategy.
Yeah, fully agree. I think that that should be intuitive to most people that like a floor minimum dose is not ever going to be a long-term strategy if the goal is to do your best to try to continue to improve performance over the long term. If either of us were thrust into a situation where we were extremely limited on time, I think that we would probably gravitate towards a strategy like this where we would want to maintain some regular exposure to like pretty heavy weights. Not to say we'd be taking our sets, all to failure necessarily, but some exposure to maintain like the strength skill, and then whatever additional volume we're able to squeeze in during the time we have available would be how we would fill in the rest.
Yeah, yeah. So let's wrap up this concept here of like kind of what we're trying to achieve here from an exercise dosing standpoint. So first, we're trying to achieve just anything. Like literally any form of exercise is going to be better than none. So like that's ground level. First, let's do something. The sort of second benchmark or milestone that we'd like people to reach is meeting the current physical activity guidelines, both the resistance training and the conditioning part. After that, now we're playing with house money. So we're basically trying to figure out what is the maximum amount of exercise that a person can tolerate, both logistically and physiologically, because that is likely to drive the maximum improvement in both health and fitness adaptations. And